When there are no enrollments in any preschool, there are only two reasons.
In the year 2018, when I started my preschool, so I had only 13 students, 1 3.
Okay. What are the three most important aspects that contributed going towards that 100 enrollment?
I have touched in the year 2022, I have crossed 100 enrollments. So I always had this passion of early childhood learning. I'm in Tirupati, Andhra Pradesh. So it is a small place.
How do you differentiate yourself? What makes a parent take a decision that no, my child should go to your preschool as compared to any other preschool in the locality?
I never give fake promises
Okay.
and transparent communication with the parents. Yes, definitely. I suggest to start with your own brand. Don't focus on, making money in the initial stage.
How did you manage to set up the curriculum?
Don't chase the numbers of admissions. I'm expecting to cross the 200 this year. Let us see.
Amazing. Welcome, Ms. Shanti. I interview preschool owners who have crossed an enrollment count of more than 100. Okay, so these kind of videos help my audience, which are preschool owners or those who want to start a preschool. Okay, they help them in taking decisions in a better way. Okay, so to start with, my very first question is, what inspired you to get into a preschool business?
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. So for inviting me. So I'm very glad to have a discussion with you. And so for your question, so am I audible?
Yeah, now you are, yes.
So yes. So I always had this passion of early childhood learning, and I always I believe foundation is very important for any student, any children, which is going to have a greater impact once they grow up. So this is where First Step Academy has gone. So with this passion, so I have started with First Step Academy in the year 2018. So this is the 8th year of our school.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
And what is your background? Like, have you been into this industry before starting, or this is your first time?
Not exactly.
Okay.
Not exactly. I was a BCom graduate. I was working for KPMG.
Acha, so you're not from a preschool background, is what?
And then, but I had this passion of no.
Okay.
Before 2018, I was not into the education field.
Oh, okay.
But I had this interest. So one of my friend's sister, she was running a preschool in Bangalore. So very frequently, I was visiting that school, and that is where I think that is where I have sown that seed in myself to start with a preschool. And then, so in the year 2018, so my elder one was 3 years, my elder son. So I was looking for the schools to make him join. So then before that, I have done my diploma in child psychology. So, and that is
so that must have definitely helped.
Yes. So that with my elder son, I thought of starting a school, and I took up a Montessori training, and that is how I have started the school. And later on, I have done my B.Ed, and right now I'm pursuing my M.Ed also.
Okay, nice.
Yes.
Okay, so coming to my next question. See, usually now I talk to a lot of preschool owners. What I see is, throughout my last 12 years of experience in this industry, what I've observed is that a lot of preschools are stuck at an enrollment count of somewhere between 40 to 50. Okay, they're not able to grow from that level to the next 75 or maybe crossing the 100 enrollments. So, but you have done that, and so if you can just break it down into, say, if I would ask you, what are the three most important aspects that contributed going towards that 100 enrollment? And I would also like to know from the first year, how has been your growth, like in terms of enrollment counts every year? How did you grow till you reached the first 100?
Yeah, sure. So in the year 2018, when I started my preschool, so I had only 13 students, 1 3.
Okay.
So I started with 13 students, and now in the prior recent academic year 2024, so I ended up having 147 students in my pre-primary.
Which year you said?
2018.
So no, the first year you had around 13 enrollments.
13 enrollments, and in recent academic year.
Acha, so this is your first year when you crossed the 100
I had 147 students in my pre-primary. Yes.
Okay.
No, this is not my first year. See, that was the first. 2018 was the first year I have started the school with 13 enrollments.
No. What I'm asking is, which year did you touch the 100 enrollment mark?
Oh, okay. I have touched in the year 2022. I have crossed 100 enrollments.
Okay, so so your fourth academic batch is
Yes,
where you
yes.
reached 100. And how was
Exactly.
the growth? Like for 2018, you said you had 13 enrollments. Then next year, what was the count after that, and fourth year?
Yes.
So can you tell us that?
2018, I started with 13. 2019, yes, I had 27 enrollments.
Okay.
And I was about to start in 2020, but you know what happened? The
Yeah,
pandemic
absolutely.
hit. So it was a very challenging time for me. I was struck wherein, the time wherein I was very happy that my growth was growing. All of a sudden, there was a pandemic and the schools were shut down. But yes, so I took some courage and tried. See, because it is preschool students attending online was something which is very challenging for the parents as well. They were not
Absolutely.
agreeing.
Yeah.
And I started, so only 5 to 6 students were attending the online classes.
Okay.
And with zero fees. But somehow I, started to run the online classes. But so I should say that this online classes, that gave me an opportunity wherein I proved myself that what kind of quality of education we are providing to the students. Because parents came across, they were sitting along with the children, so they were understanding what kind of methodology we are using.
Yeah.
And by the time of second lockdown, so around 40 enrollments I had for only for online classes.
Oh. So that's commendable. I mean,
So
because
it
that
just
time it was
went,
very
see, I'm from Tirupati. And
yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, so I'm in Tirupati, Andhra Pradesh. So it is a small place, wherein the word of a mouth spreads very easily because this is very small circle. So this online classes, I should say that it gave me a wonderful opportunity.
Okay.
And once the lockdown was over, when the lockdown was lifted, when I reopened the school in 2021 September, so within a 1 week, so for the online classes, I had 40 students. When I reopened the school physically, within 1 week, I had around 70 admissions.
Oh.
So, and the very next year, in the 2022, it crossed 100. So you asked me that what are the 3 factors that contributed my success?
Yes.
No? So consistency is the main first thing.
Okay.
And the transparent communication with the parents.
Okay.
That's the second one. And the quality of education with a supporting staff. So the staff whom we recruit, they should have a similar objective. So we were all following
Very
the
important,
same. And
yes.
these 3 factors, it helped me a lot in getting the more admissions.
Okay. So the point number 2 which you mentioned, wherein you said communicating transparently. So can you throw
Yes,
some
yes.
light on it? Like, see, I keep telling a lot of preschool owners that your parents and the kids that you have in the school, they are your brand ambassadors, right? Because today, first year if you have 40, next year these 40 kids might get you another 40. They act as your brand ambassadors. So, but in your case, you said the communication, transparent communication helps. So how did you do that? I mean, can you throw some light on that?
Sure. See, I never give fake promises saying that, I will teach your child that thing, this thing. No. So I will be very, very transparent, not only me, even my staff who are
Okay.
communicating with the parents. See, we promise only what we do. So we say in the very initial stage of taking admission that we are going to teach according to the learning capabilities of the child. That we cannot, just because if we give the fake promises to the false claims to the parents, saying that within this academic year we are going to finish this, your child will be able to say this, or you could be able to write something. No, that is impossible. Wherein to accomplish that promise, we may have to put pressure on the children. So nowadays all the parents are educated, so they will have a lot of expectations definitely. But I will make sure that we have to expect very little from our preschool children. So if we explain them in a proper way, definitely all the parents will understand. See, not any parent wanted to pressurize their children, right? So being an educated, parents will try to understand. So we have the communication that we are having with the parents should be very transparent. So this is how I communicate with my parents. So even in between of the academic year also, if the parent comes, asking that my child is not writing or my child is not saying this rhymes, where my neighbor child is saying all these things who is of same age. No, we have to sit with the parents, we have to take time, we have to let them understand that not all the 5 fingers are same and not every children are same. So this, we have to take time in explaining to the parents. So this is where I succeeded, sir. So this, to be very frank, I haven't done any marketing for my school. So majority of my admissions are from the word of a mouth and by the parent referrals.
Okay. So actually that was going to be my next question. Like in terms of marketing, any specific activity that has helped you to reach this, or but you answered it like it is purely word of mouth.
Yes, it is purely word of mouth, and maybe bit of social media, uploading the videos of raw videos of our children's activity. So wherein
Okay.
that gave me a little credibility in getting admissions as well. So proper marketing, very frankly, I haven't done any
Okay.
marketing sort of thing till now.
And so, in terms of social media, do you handle it in-house or you have given it to some third-party?
No, I
You
handle it by myself.
Okay, nice. So, while talking, I just because we are talking about social media. So, recently, what I've done is I have launched a online course, I would say. Okay, which actually there are multiple courses which I have launched, and I've mentioned the link in the description of this video as well. But specifically talking about now, what happens is a lot of preschool owners, they want to do social media, they want to be present, they want to publish a lot of reels, posts. But then the challenge that they face is not every preschool owner is a designer, right? So the main thing where they are stuck is how to create these nice, creative, attractive designs, posts, reels, and all. So just to do that, I have recently launched a course, and maybe all the audience or even you can have a look at it later, wherein I have provided a lot of templates, ready-to-use templates of these social media posts as well as reels, and the complete 12 months. How you can plan social media for the complete 12 months is what I have tried to explain in that program. And
that's wonderful.
yes.
So
Okay.
it's going to help all of us very much.
So yeah, I mean, I just want that people to have a very professionalized social media approach and not just design anything, because any social media post is going to represent your brand, right?
That's true.
Okay, so another question which I wanted to ask you is, now, see, nowadays there's a lot of competition, right? In even a small radius, like say 2.5 to 3 kilometers, there might be preschools, between 10 preschools to almost 25 preschools, different brands. So now, how do you differentiate yourself? Because see, I'm sure a inquiry which comes to your preschool has also visited 3-4 other brands, and considering you being yours a standalone brand, right? You're not a franchisee, so this is your own brand.
Yes,
So
yes, my own
there
brand.
might be branded preschools like the big franchises like maybe Eurokids, Little Millennium Kids, and all. So
Yes.
how do you differentiate yourself? What makes a parent take a decision that no, my child should go to your preschool as compared to any other preschool in the locality?
Yeah, so first of all, I try to attend the enquiries by myself as much as possible, because
Okay.
only I can explain what is the objective of my preschool in a better way. Of course, my staff will be supportive, but the way I give the confidence to the parents, that hits them different rather than the
Right.
staff attending the inquiry. So this is the first thing I do, and I will try to explain them what kind of curriculum we are following, what is the methodology and approach we are going to deliver the education to the students. And it's like we follow, it's a blend of traditional values, and also it's not only about academic excellence. So especially for preschool, as per my knowledge, rather than academic skills, so it's about how to handle their emotions and how to be
Exactly.
outspoken and to develop their social skills and creativity. This matters a lot, and nowadays parents are expecting this. So this
Yeah.
needs to be delivered properly to the parents. So there should be a person who has to explain this in a proper way. So I think that helped me, and I can easily convince them. It's not about convincing. I can just say what I'm doing. So definitely, around, if I get 10 inquiries, if I'm sitting in the office, so I'm very proud to say that easily 7 to 8 admissions I can convert. So
Nice.
maybe my confidence is helping me, and that makes my school unique. And of course, my staff is very supportive. So I have trained them, and yes, they equally give me the same support. So I think this makes us just stand unique from the other preschools.
Okay. And yes, absolutely. I mean, see, when you talked about the conversion ratio, so many a times I tell a lot of preschool owners, see, when there are no enrollments in any preschool, there are only two reasons, okay, why the enrollments might be not happening. Number one is you're not able to generate inquiries. Okay, very simple. There are no inquiries walking in, or you're not getting any calls. The second challenge is there are a lot of inquiries, but you're not able to convert them, right? As I was mentioning, the conversion ratio of any person matters a lot, because if you have 10 inquiries, as you said, because you're the owner, the way you would talk to a parent or the way you would counsel a parent would not be the same as some employee is. Of course, I'm not saying that is the case in all situations. I know a lot of preschool owners who have center heads, and they are actually very good at conversion, even better than the owner. Okay, but yes, if you understand the, what do you say, the mission or the vision of the preschool owner, then it is very easy to convince a parent and to explain each and every point to the parent that how they are going to take care of the child. So
Exactly.
yes. Okay, so now we have already talked about what helped you and how did you reach here. But my next question is about the kind of challenges that you faced. Okay, because I'm sure one of the biggest challenge every preschool owner has faced was the COVID, right? So
That's true.
almost 40% of the preschools in India were completely shut down because of this pandemic. But even that time, I used to tell a lot of preschool owners during my workshop that if you survive this period, then it's like you're going to rule the preschool industry, because all the weak ones who are not able to as in stay consistent and drag themselves out of this pandemic were had to shut down. Okay, and so those who survived were just like you said, as soon as the pandemic got over and you started, you from 40 you directly within a week you reached around 75.
Yes.
So,
yes.
but apart from the COVID, what were the challenges specifically? See, now this video is also watched by someone who is looking forward to start a preschool. Okay, either he or she is planning to take up a franchisee or own brand. But then, what were those initial challenges in the first year that you faced while starting? Because you said you had only 13 enrollments.
Yes.
So I'm sure it must be very challenging to continue the operations in the first year.
That's true. Yes.
So how did you manage that, and what were those challenges that you faced?
Yeah, as you said, the biggest challenge when we open the preschool initially will be, financial problems. Wherein, so I would like to say, like, don't focus on, making money in the initial stage. Don't focus on the quantity. Focus on the quality and be consistent. Yes. So maybe for, it's not only in the preschool. If you're going to start any sort of business, you have to wait for some time to see the fruits, to get the fruits from that. So same happens here as well. So you have to be consistent, focus only on quality rather than quantity, and definitely have a pure intentions. Education field is something wherein everyone will respect, and it's a matter of life of one child who is going to be a citizen of this country. So you have to be just for the sake of admissions. We just shouldn't focus only on admissions. So even if you have 5 admissions or 6 admissions, focus on providing a quality of education to them, and you don't have to do any sort of marketing. So the satisfied parents will become your marketing and marketers, and your students to whom you have provided that education, they will become your brand ambassadors. And within a very short span, like maybe for a second or third year, definitely you will break that point of your investment, and you're going to get a good results. So this is what I can say. This is, of course, even I had I have faced this challenge, and not only this. See, ongoing forward, initial stage, this will be the only challenge. But once this challenge you could able to face, so there will be other challenges, surprise challenges will be on your way, wherein you should be very confident, you should be brave and bold enough to face, any sort of challenges. Next challenge for me will be like, getting the proper teachers and, retaining the teachers for a long time. So that is all.
So how did you manage that?
I mean, challenge.
How
apart from this,
how often do you hire teachers?
So touch wood. So I have teachers who are working with me since the day when I have started school.
Oh wow.
So see, we have to give that freedom and liberty to the teachers, wherein they should have that feeling that they should have that job satisfaction. So we should they deserve the respect, and we have to be very we have to consider their expectations. And yes, of course, I train them, and I train them very frequently. Yes, and I give them a lot of liberty, and they feel like this is their own school, and their own children are my students. Their children are studying in our school, and yes, I take care of them. So that made them to retain in my school for a long time.
Okay. So yes, I mean, the first challenge that you talked about, having that. So even I feel that when you get into any business, and specifically when it's a preschool business, it is very important to have that runway. You cannot have working capital only ready for like 3 to 4 months. You have to have enough capital that will help you survive for at least the next 12 months. Because otherwise you will always have that stress at the back of the mind that how am I going to pay the rent next month. So if you are out of that stress, then only you will be able to completely focus on your academics and marketing.
That's true.
Perfect.
There should be
and
a
the
proper
second
planning,
challenge,
planning.
Second challenge that you talked about was, of course, which you haven't faced, but you said the teacher attrition rate.
Yes.
Right. So I think you have cracked it, because as you said, the
Yes,
teachers who
yes.
are there are with you
Yes.
since the day of inception.
Yes,
So
yes.
again, the
And
credit
one
of this goes to you.
more challenge, if you wanted to mention, like, sorry.
No, go on.
Yeah. So the next biggest challenge is the expectations of the parents.
Okay.
So nowadays, parents comes with a lot of expectations. Like they expect a playgroup child to write cursive writing, you know. So, but yes, luckily now this generation parents, when we make them to sit, when we explain them the actual situation, they are trying to understand. But you know that takes a lot of time, you know, in making them to understand why the child cannot able to read, why the child cannot able to write, and what they have to expect. So all these things, these are also challenges which we have to face on a regular basis.
So I think this challenge is faced by almost every preschool owner
Yes,
and
this is
every
going to
teacher
be a
in the
biggest
school. Yeah.
challenge. You know, parents comes complaining that my child is not eating properly, my child is watching mobile phones. So this all happens. This is a never-ending challenges which we have to face regularly.
Right. Okay, so I think we are almost at the end of our interview. My last question is very important, because, as I said, a lot of people who want to start a preschool, or as I said, even they are still struggling to get those enrollments, are watching this video. So I would ask you, if I had to ask you to give some advice to someone who is now planning to start a preschool. Okay, so I'll break this question into two. Number one is, would you advise them to get start their own brand, or you would suggest them to take up a franchisee of an established brand? That is my question number one. And of course, the second question is, what is the advice that you will give, because you have now such a vast experience into this industry, you've crossed 100.
So answering to your first question, yes, definitely I suggest to start with your own brand. Only then you will understand what exactly you wanted to do. So
Okay.
start with your own, believe in yourself. So that's what I can say.
But
So
then
rather
how
than
how did you manage to set up the curriculum, or even get those student kit? Because usually when a franchisee, you sign up with a franchisee, they provide everything ready to go, right? But in your case, how did you
Yes.
research for the perfect student?
That's
Which
what.
student kit you should buy and all?
Yes, see, that's what you have to research. You have to sit, make some time. The planning should be very proper. At least for the next 2 years, you should have a proper planning of your curriculum. What are the activities you're going to have? What is your approach? What are the creative activities that you're going to do? What are the celebrations you're going to? How you are engaging the students? So this all needs a lot of work. It's not an easy task. So you have to dedicate yourself. You have to spend a lot of time. Only then, we could able to get a good number of admissions, and there will be no hustles in between. So preparation is very, very important. Planning and preparation for at least for 1 year. For the upcoming academic year, we have to be ready. And yes, choose the proper curriculum partner, because that plays a major role. And yes, luckily, the curriculum which I have chosen. So that is also an add-on for me. Like it's a wonderful curriculum which I have around some 20 to 25 curriculums I have seen. And at
Okay.
last, it's your decision that So since I had my own son, so it
Right.
became a little easier for me, what kind of education we have to give to the students. So it helped me a lot, taking my son as an example.
Okay. Right.
So that is how I choose. So I suggest to start with your own brand rather than taking. It's their own choice. But since you have asked my suggestion, yes, I definitely wanted everyone to go with their own brands. And what was your second question?
Yes,
What is the
second one,
advice?
what is the advice you would like to give for someone who is planning to get into this preschool business now?
Yes, focus on consistency, and don't chase the numbers of admissions, and don't deliver the false claims to the parents. So focus on
Okay.
the children rather than the parents. Your ultimate customer is the children, not the parents. So we are not going to deliver our product to the parents. We are delivering it to the children. So consider them when you are promising something. So
Okay.
and have pure intentions. So definitely that is going to help. That is going to be helpful for you in
So I hope all
making
our
your
audience
business
have
successful.
taken notes from this session that I had today with you. There's a lot of things that the viewers must have got to know from this video. So thank you so much. And before I end, I just like to ask you, see, nowadays there are so many online courses which are available, right? So, but long, like 4 or 5 years back, there were nothing called as an online course, I think, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if that time when you started a preschool, if you had an opportunity to enroll for any online course, wherein you would you were taught the basics, okay, before getting into a preschool, like how should you be able to budget for a preschool, what kind of curriculum to choose, or even what kind of marketing budgets you should have in the initial stage, how to create a projection in terms of return on investment as a for completely from a business point of view. So if you had an opportunity to enroll for such a course, would you have enrolled that time?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I would have enrolled, and even now, if any such courses are available, even now I would like to enroll because see, there is no end for learning. We
Absolutely.
have to keep ourselves upgraded. As you said, within a span of 4 years, now we can see all the online courses available like this. But before 4 years, it was not there. So we should keep ourselves updated. Definitely, if there are any such opportunities, I would like to advise everyone to enroll for that, which is going to be definitely helpful for us.
So yes, I mean, I've been working on this for a very long time, but somehow work kept me busy. But finally, I have, as I told you earlier, there are a couple of courses, online courses, which I've launched, and the link for the homepage of these courses is there in the description. But there's one course which I've named as Preschool Setup Blueprint. Okay, so because see, I've been into this industry from last 12 years, and I was associated with a brand, you must be knowing, Little Millennium Preschool. So I was associated with them. I had helped them set up almost 40 plus preschool franchises in a particular region. So with all that knowledge that I have, and I've tried to put everything in this course, which is called as Preschool Setup Blueprint. So right from how much to budget for whether to take a franchisee or a regular one, how to what should be the targets in terms of the enrollments, and a lot more things I've put it up in this online course. So I'm adding the link in the description. So
wow, wonderful,
you can just
wonderful.
go and check.
Congratulations, and it's something very big which is going to help all the budding preschool educators.
Yes, I'm sure, and I hope for the same.
Yeah, wish you all the very best for that.
Thank you so much, and I wish you all the best as well. So maybe we will do another such interview when you cross the second milestone, which would be the 200 250
Definitely.
enrollments.
So I'm expecting to cross the 200 this year. Let us see.
Amazing.
Let's
Yeah. So as soon as you do, you let me know.
Definitely, definitely.
Okay, thanks a lot for your time, and best of luck.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for inviting me. It was a wonderful, discussion. So nice talking to you. Even you gave me a lot of inputs. So I think it's going to be helpful for me. Looking forward, as you said, once I cross the
Yes.
next milestone. So let's meet up together.
100%. Yeah. Okay. Yes.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye. Nice
Yes.
day.